Hey everybody,
Those
what
terrible.
is somebody's got a new toy.
Starting errands.
Yeah, it's like it gets too loud and it kind of just dies off a little bit, so unfortunately. But it's all good. What is going on, everybody? How the hell are you? This is a very special episode of the Battle Bros podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Mac. This handsome gentleman over here, this is Alamo. How the hell are you? Welcome to the shindig.
The 100th
Yeah,
episode.
it's awesome. Yay. You're like a damn radio DJ who just got that button right next to him. Just like, I gotta hit the button. I gotta hit the button. Ah! Like all the hip hop stations, you crowd playing all that noise. Jesus,
I mean, I could do this.
you could do that. Turn it up a little bit. Turn it up.
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
And they probably just charge us like $5 million. So
Pretty much. We ain't got that kind of money, yo. All right. Sorry, I missed the dog. Our bad.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember for like half a minute? You remember for like a half a minute he went by Snoop Lion?
I do. God, that was when he was in his he was in his Rasta stage. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting.
To say the least.
I mean, Snoop Lion, but then now back.
I'm glad we went back. He not only changed the name, he changed the sex of his artist icon imagery. Like it went from being a dog to a large ass cat, a lion. So it's like,
Yeah.
about that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you are new to the show, we're just two guys that have known each other for a good portion of our lives, and we have a podcast, as you might have figured out.
Indeed.
Alamo was on active duty. I spent 6 years in the Florida Army National Guard. We both deployed once. He went to Iraq. I went to Afghanistan. So we kind of have like both sides of GWAT covered from various angles and stuff. So yeah. We we have this little show that we do. We'll talk about the origins of it a little bit later on. But yeah. Also, please, by all means, if you would, go check out our social media pages, I should say. We're on all the social media pages. You can go to our YouTube channel and search Battle Bros Podcast. From there, it'll link you to all of our other accounts, Instagram, X, Facebook, all that good stuff. You can get notifications when we have new stuff going on. We post stuff. New shows, all that kind of jazz. But yeah, we would appreciate it. We've been doing this for 100 episodes now. This is our 100. I kind of spoiled the surprise there, so poopy. But this is our 100 episode, so we're just gonna kind of do something a little bit different. But yeah, you can go back and watch all of our old episodes on our YouTube channel. Hear our old podcasts and whatnot. You can find us pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts in general. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Almo's going to plug all that stuff shamelessly at the very end of the show.
Hell yeah.
But yes, exactly right. So yeah, that's kind of who we are, what we do. We talk about veteran and military and first responder related issues because it's near and dear to our heart. Again, we'll explain it at the end. But yeah, if it's your first time, thanks for stopping by. Hope you like what you hear and see, or just hear, depending on how you're engaging with us and listening and consuming our content. But yeah, before we get into this week's show, let's talk about last week. Last week's show was episode 099er called Adaptability. That was a really good conversation that we had on that one. I'm a little biased. I think all of our shows are really good. So I would hope so because, yeah, like I helped to put them out. So about that. But this today, very special episode. This is episode 100, the 100th episode. So we were going to kind of take a slightly different approach where we're just going to look back on our first 100 episodes, kind of like when you have a new, chief executive come in and he is in office for the first 100 days and they look at what's going on, good things, bad things, all that stuff. We're going to be a little bit retrospective and introspective and talk about us for
review, if you will.
a what?
A review. 100 days of review. 100 days review.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
So we're gonna need to. Yeah. We're gonna need to. We're gonna need to work on all that because it's it's still a little bit kind of fuzzy when you hear it. So
gotcha.
Yeah, a little bit. We got to figure that out. So anyway, so while he's monkeying with that, yeah, you damn right. I know what I'm doing here. Leave me alone. I got 100 episodes, 99 episodes under my belt. Shut up and drive on. Anyway, so yeah, so let's talk a little bit of how we got started. You've heard this story a bunch of times, but for those of you that may be new to the program, we'll kind of go into it. So Alamo and I, again, friends in high school. We were 3 years apart in school. Alamo was a freshman when I was in my senior year. We had ROTC together, became friends, and stayed in touch all the way through. After that, when I left high school, 9/11 happened that same year that we were in school together. And that was really kind of a very formative moment for both of our lives, especially for Alamo over here, because he had just moved from New York City several months prior to that, like during the summer. So I can only imagine what that was like. But that was a very formative moment in both of our lives and both of our in both of our lives. I was going to try to find something else to say, but never mind. We ended up both joining the military. We both joined the Army. I enlisted in 2003. I joined the Florida Army National Guard. I was in an infantry battalion for 6 years. I enlisted in 2003, got out in 2009, with a deployment to Afghanistan from 2005 to 2006. Alamo joined the Army in 2005.
05, baby.
And then you ended up, your first duty station was Fort Lewis, I believe.
Fort Lewis, now Joint Base Lewis McChord. Yes, indeed.
Right,
my friend.
And then from there you went, the unit reflagged a couple of times while you were there, and then you guys ended up rotating over and going to Germany.
Yeah, we went through one reflag. We went from 1st 24th to 3rd Squadron, 2nd Cav. And after that, we moved over to Vilsik, Germany.
So
which is in
how many different
Bavaria.
Divisions were you assigned to? You didn't you wear 2nd ID, or did you wear Tropic Lightning?
Until the reflag, yes, we wore. I wore Deuce 4. Then when we reflagged, I was wearing nothing but 3-2.
Right. So Deuce 4 was part of Indian Head, right?
Strawberry Patch, actually.
So it was 25th ID. Okay, got it. Okay. So yeah, so he ended up going to Germany, and then from there ended up deploying to Iraq. You actually went during the stop loss, where you actually ended up staying for, I think, 15 months?
15-month tours, baby. Yeah, we We were stop. I was stop loss specifically. My contract for active duty was specifically about 3.5 years is what they had me sitting at, which was actually fairly common around that time frame. And the 15-month tour just extended it to a full 4 years. And then after my 4 years were up, I decided I would come home. Decided I got bored after that, and then I joined the reserves. Yeah.
And is that what
Went
you did?
pack
You did the reserves for the to finish out the 8-year block that you were required for?
I was originally going to re-enlist until my wife got pregnant.
Right.
Once
Okay.
I found out she got pregnant, then it was a done deal.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I can't fault you for that. But anyway, so we've, like I said, with all this going on, we've stayed in contact. We've been friends. Alamo moved to a different part of the state. I still live in the Tampa Bay area. He lives out on the far side of Orlando, probably closer to Daytona Beach than Orlando. So
Yes.
by the miracle of technology, we're able to do this show, even though we're 100 plus miles apart when we go on every week. So we worked a little while, about a year or two. We worked at a place that did firearms retail. Kind of rekindled the friendship there, and met a good friend of ours named John, who is didn't know it at the time, but he would be kind of the main reason for this show. We all left there. We were all friends, but we all kind of fell out of touch with each other for a little while. And John, unfortunately, kind of fell. I don't know exactly what happened with John, but he ended up solving a temporary problem with a permanent solution, and he committed suicide.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so
Yeah.
at that right around that time, Alamo had asked me to work an event for his wife, Tisha. She has a YouTube channel called FlipsideMentorship.com. Awesome things they got going on over there. I'm actually taking part in one of the events they have coming up here in about a week or two.
Battle buddies.
Well, painting with your VIP is what it's called. So I'm gonna end up
That
doing
too,
that with
yeah.
my daughter. Yes.
Yeah, that too.
So, but yeah, check it out. They got a lot of cool stuff going on there. It's called FlipsideMentorship.com. I ended up working an event with Alamo and his lovely bride, and
The Battle Buddies event.
it's kind of the first time we've hung out, and it was great. And then afterwards, I remember you called me. He's like, dude, we got to do something to get back together. Like, we gotta link up. We got to do something cool. We got to have some fun. Like, come on, man. Like, let's do this. So we talked about doing a podcast, and I was like, that's all cool and dandy and everything, but I really don't know a whole lot about a podcast. So I have some reservations about it. And he looks at me and he's like, dude, they put a monkey in outer space. Like, how hard can it be? I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm good. Well, we were talking about that, and then found out about John, and I called Alamo. I was like, hey, man, did you hear about John? And he's like, no, I got to call him. His birthday's coming up. I'm like, you can't. He's no longer with us. And we found out, and I had to break the news to him about it. And I remember you kind of being a little bit bewildered, and you were just like, you were just completely shocked and everything else. And it was like, yeah. It was a shitty phone call. It sucks. But while we were having that phone call, I was like, dude, the podcast thing. I was like, I feel like this is a sign I'm in. Let's do this. And you were like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was like, for sure. So we kind of conceptualized and came up what we're talking about. And, we started right around July of 2021. Before we did some initial type stuff, we did like a minute long audio commercial, kind of prep, teasing the show a little bit and whatnot.
Yeah, that was when it was still Anchor. God.
Yeah, we were still on Anchor.
Yeah,
but
Anchor is now Spotify. Spotify is Anchor. Go figure.
Yeah, but it was crazy because, like, that first episode, I actually did that from Brian's house. up in his
I remember.
office. And dude, I didn't know shit about what we were doing. I was like, I'm just here for the ride. Like, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
it was the most awkward of awkward.
Oh God. But it's a close draw. Like the two most awkward for me are the first one and then number 5, where we tried to do like a funny show because we were talking about like military jargon and why it was funny and like all the
Yeah,
goofy. And I was like, oh,
yeah, it
those
didn't
two are
work out the way
probably
we wanted to.
no, not at all. They
Yeah,
were the most cringeworthy. So,
probably.
but we kind of found our way. It took us a little while. I remember getting done with that first season. Our seasons are 22 episodes long, and 22 is kind of a poignant number because of this right here, the amount of veterans on average that commit suicide a day, like our dear friend John, who is sorely missed. But I remember we had some good conversations in the first season, and then we had a guest on, Christine Murillo, I think her name was
Yes.
Muriello, and
Yeah,
she was just an absolute gem to talk to. It was like our
she really
longest
was.
show at the time. It was
So if you
probably
guys are
close to
joining us
2
on this
hours.
episode, go back and listen to that episode. It's a great episode.
Episode number 22. We talked about suicide because
Hope.
it was
Yeah,
very.
that's the episode. Yeah,
Was it?
it was
Was it
called
called
Hope.
Hope?
Mm-hmm.
I believe you, but I'm verifying. I think you're right. I know you're right. Yes, it was called Hope. Okay. Christine Muriello. Yep. She was a great guest to have on. And I think it was that the first time we had somebody on? No.
That was our first
Yeah.
guest. That was
That was our first.
actually
That
first
was
guest, yeah.
that was before we started doing the VIP session.
It
So
was because we were trying to work out in some way, shape, or fashion how we were going to end up doing it, and I think like you and me, we kind of sat down. We were like, well, let's kind of treat this as our test run, see how things are going to end up with, like how the interview format works out. And then I think it was right after that is when I think we sat down. I think like probably like a couple weeks before our next season, we were like, we need to come up with a game plan, a way like how we break this interview stuff
yeah.
down.
We
And
were
then
literally
made
like
our freaking
no joke. We were flying by like the seat of our pants that whole first episode. Like, the whole first season? Like, what do we do? Let's figure it out. Like, I mean, I'll give you credit, bro. Like, you had a lot more like vision and direction. And kind of like that whole first season. You kind of like, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And then we kind of worked out the rhythm of things, and now we kind of have the vibe and everything kind of worked out. So it's been crazy. But yeah, that first season finale, so to speak, with Christine was just awesome. It was such a cool, like, I think I'm gonna go back and watch it. I haven't seen that in a while, so I'm gonna go back
I
and
know.
watch it, just listen to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, especially
that's
because she has such great information, man. And she was amazing. She really was. She was amazing.
So fast forward to that, and 4.5 seasons later, here we are at episode 100, which is just crazy to think about. It's like we've done that many already. It's like that's insane. Holy shit. So yeah, it was absolutely wild. So what we're doing for this is kind of like how people review the first 100 days of a new administration, or like a new leader coming into an organization, so on. We're kind of look back at our first 100 episodes, and we're each going to talk about 3 things that have kind of stood out to us, and kind of 3 things for each of us that have kind of like been what we've really, really, really enjoyed. So, Alan, I'm gonna let you go first, man.
So I have a clip. This is just an example of a very many things that like basically this is one of my favorite. I'll have to say it's like just the funny shit that we just discuss on, like when we just like go ham and like just cannot help but laugh. One of these one of these clips that I have in particular is from our first holiday episode. And in our first holiday episode, we were talking about how our deployments went, what we did during those holidays, because obviously it was well, let's just say I was talking about what what happened to us during our deployment.
Are you referencing? Okay, so this is from episode 021, right?
It's from 021. Yes.
Okay. I haven't seen this clip, so I'm really nervous to watch what this is about.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the clip do its thing and kind of explain it. So here we go.
Insert Jeopardy theme music here for the folks listening on audio only, not watching, because we are setting up a clip. Alamo is drawing this stuff up right now. This is a live show, folks. Thank you for being patient with us, with Dead Air Alamo over on my side over here. You're killing me with the you're slowing the show down, dude. Come on. Get to the clip.
What's up there?
There we go.
And we were worried about
Oh, wait, hold on. I know what I did wrong. I was trying to I didn't realize it. Sorry. Wait.
Live
crap.
show,
Hold
folks.
on.
We're good.
Damn it. I think my side just froze. Live show. Yeah. So anyway, again, we were talking about Christmas memories. And essentially, I'm going to try this again because apparently I'm a jackass. I didn't realize I was freakishly sharing it. Hold on 1 second. Oh, Lord. All right. Here we go. So, what the hell? Did you hear any of the video or no?
I heard a little bit of it, but it kind of clicked off pretty quick. So,
okay. So basically, we're talking about what are,
and because my unit specifically was QRF 32 Cav, they wanted somebody that can quickly move from base to base in order to go ahead and get the enemy. But when we got to new base, when we got Warhorse, the funny thing was, when we got to Camp Warhorse, our tents were literally just a tent. It was those big ones that kind of look like the old military, aircraft and mechanical hangars.
yeah, it's like a Quonset hut.
Yeah, a big aluminum and
crank it up. I was like,
the big aluminum. To be completely honest, we spent Christmas Eve building our hooches from probably, in other words, giving ourselves walls and sectionals and things like that, so we didn't have to look at each other's freaking wieners when we woke up. Because a lot of guys slept naked. Let's just be honest here. It was the military. So
oh crap. Okay, so I think Alamo just cut off because the probably his computer slowed down, so we had to go back and restart. So yeah, so that's actually, I'm gonna kind of piggyback on what he was talking about here. That's actually one of my favorite 3 things as well, is when we're doing the show and we just start laughing uncontrollably and things just go to shit rapidly. So we made us, we weren't staring at everybody.
I don't know how far that went.
It got pretty good. It got to the point where you were like, we built walls, so we have to stare at everybody's wieners because guys sleep naked, and I'm just in the background just cackling like a fucking monkey.
But the best part about okay, I want to go back for a few seconds so you can hear what you say, because it's hilarious.
Well, be advised,
you break out laughing
again,
and
so
Yeah, I don't know why it did that just now. Again, I think my computer just sucks. I just need a new computer. Let's try that
You get
again.
power.
One more time.
Live show. Bear with us.
All right. Live show indeed. So, okay, here we go. Do.
Just looking at it and laughing already.
It's military. So,
The
we
U.S.
built our-
Army. Here's the U.S. Army, sponsored by Oscar Mayer.
Ba-ba!
Jesus.
So,
Johnsonville.
so we were building our walls.
wieners, man. Not doing it. No.
So, okay. So okay, so that's just one that was one clip. That's like one of that's one of very many moments that we just you cannot help it. And it's like you just hear certain things and it's like you just start cracking the hell up and you don't know what to do with yourself. So, oh my God.
You had a little bit of experience actually doing some drama work because you were in Thespians when you were in high school. And I could not, dude. I feel like you and I are kind of like an equivalent of like Jimmy Fallon and Horatio Sands when they were on SNL together. If one of them loses it, they're both just cracking the fuck up. Like it's just the done.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of idiots. How the hell do you not crack up on stage doing that shit? Like I would just sit here, lose it and be like, I'm sorry, roll it back from 2. My bad. Like I would fuck that up in a heartbeat repeatedly.
Yeah.
How do you not mess that up, dude?
It's I don't know, man. That's rough.
Practice.
I would say it's practice, just trying to make sure you don't lose it.
So while you had cut away, I kind of jumped in and said, that's also like you said, funny holiday discussions. So I was saying, like one of my 3 favorite things was, the counterpart to that of just funny shit and then things just going to shit. We're laughing uncontrollably like that. It's like, everybody don't want to stare at everybody's wieners. U.S. Army, sponsored by Oscar Mayer. Johnsonville Bratwurst. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
Oh, God, man.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Awesome sauce.
So 100 miles apart over an internet feed.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, dude. You know what we should show?
What?
We should show the clip. I don't think you have it on your computer, but the clip of us in your yard at your old house when we started dancing to Jump.
Oh,
that would have been beautiful. So
I would have to get Tish to send it to me.
That event that we were talking about earlier, it was for Tish's organization, Flipside Mentorship. So, we came back. I came back. I kind of had some of my stuff at their place.
Yeah. That was the first one. That was the first one.
That was the first house that was the first one. Yeah, it was at Wekiwa State Park.
Yes.
Wekiwa Springs.
Wekiwa Springs. Yeah.
Yeah. And then decided to go get some of my stuff from your old place, and then I drove home and stuff. But yeah, we were just in the yard ham boning it up, and we had House of Pain Jump Around playing, and dude, that'll be the intro for the next episode. We just got to use that. That would be fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh my God. Yes.
So good. But yeah, like that's the kind of shit that happens when you get the 2 of us in public. There's dumb things that happen. It's awful. Oh, my light came unplugged. Whoops.
Live show,
we go.
folks.
Live show. All right. So what's your second one, dude?
So my second, I mean, so far it's been honestly it's been the historical episodes.
Yeah.
Where essentially we go back, we do like small case studies on, or just like little kind of reviews of, interesting, military, United States military history type snippets. One of those being, the Borinqueneers, which I'm really proud of. I thought we did really well on that. Go back and check that episode. Go back and check that episode of Borinqueneers out. There's some really cool information in there, to include information about the one-man army.
So
one
for
bad
those
son of a bitch.
home, if you want to check these out, we should have brought these. We should have maybe made some banners for them.
We probably should have. Yeah.
Episode is episode 093. It's actually one that we did
Yeah.
during this season. But yeah, that was a very cool one. I also enjoyed, not to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
the episode you did on St. Patty's Day, and like how
Yes.
the Irish were very like. I'm of Irish descent, and like I didn't know that. I'm like, God, I feel like a terrible
dude.
fucking person. Like, oh my God,
dude. I spent a month working on that freaking episode, and it was just like, the more information I read, the more interesting it got, and I was just freaking loving it.
Hell yeah. I mean, so we did that one. We did St. Patty's Day. We did the Borinqueneers. We also talked about in July of June of last year, because it
D-Day.
was the 80th anniversary. We talked about Operation Overlord, which was D-Day.
Yeah, we talked about D-Day. Yeah, and honestly, they've been some of my favorite episodes, man.
Yeah, man.
They've been some of my favorite episodes.
Yeah. I've enjoyed those.
Yeah, the more we do of them, the more like I want to do more of them. Like I'm like shit. Yeah, like I want to do more freaking historical shit. They take a while because because sometimes you got to put at least a month or so, or you know what I mean, to like compile all the information. Like all the relevant stuff, but
you don't want to go into anything half-assed. Obviously,
no,
you just
absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, taking the time to like do, like we have some that like are just kind of on the back burner, and we're still working on right now. So down the road, we can be like, oh, hey, this is something we've worked on for a while. Boop, like and just those have been super cool. Like I was super and just. Follow along with all that stuff. Like when we read finding out some of the statistics that we read on Overlord about how many people, how many ships, the tonnage of dunnage that was used during the war. Like nuts. You're just like you wrap your head around it. You're just like, damn, dude. But yeah, the historical episodes have been a fun touch as well. So
yeah, buddy.
Go ahead.
And number 3, honestly.
Well, let me do my number 2 before you get to number 3.
Go ahead.
So the other number 2 for me, because this is something I don't get a lot of, at least before I started doing the show. I'm a behavior therapist, so I work with a lot of kids. So I'm around a lot of children most of the week. I have my coworkers and stuff, and there's kind of a certain range fan of like conversations you're going to have and stuff. And that's fine. I mean, some of the people will surprise you. And I'm not saying anything bad by any stretch, but it's kind of like what you talk about during the course of the day is going to be kind of understood that it's going to be in this range fan of like from here to here. So when we get to have the opportunity to talk about like some really deep subjects, like that, I freaking love that stuff because I don't hang out with a lot of adults besides teachers, especially outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
sort of have the ability to like talk about some really cool freaking, subject matter. I mean, just looking at the list so far of things that we've talked about, it's like you'd think it wouldn't be that much, but man, some of these go into such a deep, conversation stuff, like talking about
Yeah.
stress and anxiety and motivation. Man, you could easily go well into that, all over the place. Actually, you know what? I need to correct something. We actually made an incorrect statement earlier.
Uh-oh. Which one?
Christine was not our first guest on our show.
She was not. Really?
She was at the end of season 1 on episode 022. The first guest that we had was 014. It was your wife when we talked about the spouse's perspective. Yeah.
I thought that was season 2.
No, that was season 1, dude.
Oh damn.
That was
Okay.
Season 1.
Okay. So never mind.
I was
Sorry.
over. It's like, oh shit, we made a boo boo. But like things like, talking about motivation and acceptance and anniversary cycle. That's where we had we were talking about like, the anniversary cycle of like remembering the bad things that have happened and whatnot. Unresolved trauma, burnout,
bad stuff, yeah.
sacrifice, talking about adversity, accountability, fortitude. Like these are things you wouldn't think would be that complex, but man, you can really deep dive into some of these, and it's just like holy shit, So like we had one where we talked about the difference between being selfless and selfish, and that was a good one as well. But yeah, communication was a big one. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And you brought one up, like the social media dilemma, which was good. Captivity, responsibility, fatigue, identity. That was a big one. We try to do like some pretty significant ones for the end of the season and whatnot. But I mean, any one of these, like I can just go back and like it's hard to remember what you're talking about in the heat of the moment because you're just trying to stay aware of what you're saying and what's being said in the moment. You're trying to stay just in that moment. And so you remember the other episode we were talking about, I was going to say something. And like, I was sitting here and I was like, lost it. I don't know what it was. I remembered what the hell it was. I think it was episode 98. We were talking about leadership. But we were talking about like something, and I was going to say something, but I forgot what it was. We were talking about like how people, how leadership isn't always great or whatnot. But I was thinking about the whole thing, like we were talking about like people that are like social justice warriors, and like people that get on the freaking keyboard, and they're online tough guys and stuff. I'm like, I remembered somebody said a quote one time, and it was
they'll just sit there.
Yeah, pretty much. And not enough people know what it's like to get punched in the face after saying something jacked up to somebody.
Correct.
And if more people knew what that was, they probably wouldn't be sitting there going, they'd probably just be like, delete. Let me shut up and mind my business.
Either that or ignore.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you can just ignore shit. You don't have to actually go into it.
So number 2 for me has been the deep conversations on important issues. Like we've had some pretty in-depth talks, and like we get off of here after we cut the feed and we go off. Like we're just sitting here, like I gotta take my headphones or my headset off sometimes. And I'm just like that was deep. So, all right, man, what's your number 3 there, bro?
Number 3, honestly, it's one that I'm actually really proud of. It was our first 2-parter. I don't think we do enough of them. It was for our 2-parter for PTSD. I mean, honestly, it's something that is a common subject here on our show.
Yeah,
we did I think we did a ton of I think we poured 3 weeks of research into that, just into those 2 episodes alone.
Because we ended up doing 2-part episodes back to back, because we did the 2 episodes 7 and 8. Hold on, I got it right here. We did 8 and 9 on PTSD, and then we did episode 10, episode 11 talking about 9/11. So we talked about
Yes.
the history
Yes.
of 9/11, and then we talked about the aftermath of it, because we ended up talking about like how there was some fallout, like unfortunate consequences of it. There was quite a few stories
Yeah.
about people of the Sikh faith actually getting targeted and hurt, killed in some instances, and it's like not even the same religion, and it's just like that's really kind of shitty because
Which I remember
it's a very
I remember seeing stuff like about that, and I just thought it was the dumbest freaking thing. Like, dude, like the ignorance of some people
yeah.
to like compare the two. Like, very obviously, one of these things is not like the other. Like the turban is a Sikh, like it's part of the Sikh faith.
Yes.
Turbans are not worn by pretty much anybody in the unless I don't know.
There is I still am, even though they took the show off the air, but I'm a huge fan of the series Blue Bloods. And
Yeah.
being about the New York City Police Department, they actually had the writers did a fantastic job of making very contemporary topics part of their show. So like there was in one episode there was an Arab business. There's a bunch of Muslims in a Muslim neighborhood, and there was some stuff going on where a business ended up getting bombed. And they come to find out, not to give away too much, that it might be somebody in the actual neighborhood. It's not, a Caucasian person, or it was actually somebody who was a Muslim committing crimes against other Muslims. Well, in the part of the episode, one of the cops stops a Sikh gentleman who took offense to the fact that the police officer claimed he was Muslim and kind of profiled him a little bit. So he popped the cop right in the nose and broke his nose. So now the guy got arrested for assaulting a police officer. But you come to find out that this guy is not Muslim. He's a Sikh. He's also a doctor. He's the chief of neurosurgery at a very prestigious hospital and stuff. And they actually talk about some of the articles of faith that they have to wear. The Tom Selleck's character, Commissioner Frank Reagan of the NYPD, is sitting there. He goes, I don't mean to ask an ignorant question, but and he's just sitting there having this wonderful moment where he's talking to the gentleman. He's like, we were told as kids this. Is that true? And this, that, and the other. But it was just this wonderful moment where they made that all come together and all that stuff. Fantastic writing. You had a lot of great times where they could pull episodes from real life stuff. But we talked about that, and immediately, and I just saw this the other day. I think I was on lunch from work, and I watched it while I was.
I've always heard about Blue Bloods. I've never watched it. I think I might actually start.
Picking it up. Do you have Paramount?
Yeah.
Okay, it's all on Paramount, dude. Just go, because we'll talk offline on that. But yeah, so it's an amazing show, and like it sucks because like they just cut it off, and it's just like the ratings were great, and nobody wanted to get canceled. And they was like, "You're gonna refresh the lineup." It's like that's like your best show. Like what the fuck? Huh? What the fuck? Over? Like yeah.
Hollywood does that all the time.
Yeah. So what
to
else
cater to the modern audience?
What else did you want to say about the two-parters?
Like I said, the amount of research that we put into those episodes and the amount of care we put into it, just to kind of not only talk about what the symptoms were, but to talk about why it affects people, why it's so important to diagnose and treat it, you know what I mean? And why in the veteran community specifically, we really need to do better at like helping each other out with it. It was probably one of the best, I think, episodes are, well, really two-parters that we've done. I encourage anybody that has not seen those episodes yet, go back, watch those episodes, because they were really good episodes.
So you can not only, and this isn't just us plugging our own podcast, but just so you know, for the folks listening at home live, or if you're listening to this once it's already been posted to one of our social media accounts, you can go back and listen to this stuff. You can find it on, the different outlets. Like we said with the podcast, if you want to watch it,
Except the 9/11 video. Except the 9/11 one. That one we weren't able to figure. Like, I don't know what happened with that one.
Yeah, that one you actually have to watch or listen to on YouTube only because we had to at the time. Oh man, it was crazy. That's so talking about the journey of this show. It's like we've had to we used to have to record video and then audio
simultaneously.
Record the audio simultaneously. Like it was. I don't even know how the hell we did that. I don't even remember, but it's just it was a pain in the neck. But now,
it was.
How did we even come across StreamYard? Do you remember?
I honestly, I was browsing ways to do a podcast at the time, and I kept finding other stuff, and there was just so many different softwares and programs and all this other crap that just seems so difficult to use. And then all of a sudden, I think midway down at the time, at least midway down the list, StreamYard popped up, and I was like, what is StreamYard? Let me check that out real quick. So I jumped on the website, I read everything, I was like, do everything through the freaking browser. Okay.
Sounded
do
really good.
Yeah. Oh, and it's free?
So, well, the entry level stuff's free. You can get more features.
Yeah.
From
you can absolutely get more features, which we'll do at some point down the road.
Right.
But it's so far so good.
No, I have no complaints, and this isn't us. We're not required to say, or plug StreamYard, but I'm going to, just because it has been an absolute just wonderful experience. For those of you that are looking to do a podcast or thinking about it, I would highly encourage you. And again, I'm not getting paid to say this. We're not getting any type of compensation.
Yeah.
Take a look at StreamYard because it makes things stupid easy for you. You follow the instructions. It's all good to go. So
yeah. Very little user error because it's so streamlined. Hey, right. StreamYard. Well, I'm not connected to it anymore. It's not going to come through.
Oh.
But that would have been a great time for it. Just
we gotta play with that a little bit more. So out. That could have been that. So that's my runner-up. Is just appropriate shit to each other that has all the double entendres. Yeah, that's what she said. Garbage. It is. I'm not saying it's not, but it's just how the hell do we put on a fucking show doing all this dumb shit? So my third favorite thing about the show, besides everything going to shit and us laughing like morons, and then the deep conversations. One of the rounding out that's my top three has been the VIP episodes where we interview fellow veterans. I think that has been just absolutely just fantastically, amazingly, awesome to incorporate into our show. Everybody always wants to know the origin story and stuff, and especially you never know where they're gonna go, right? You never know what you're gonna find out about people. I use this example all the time. So episode 058, we interviewed a buddy of mine named Kyle, who had some time in the military. He was a member of 1st Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment. Made it all the way up to staff sergeant. He was a ranger working dog handler, which was, the stories he tells, where he's got a freaking harnessed Belgian Malinois, clipped into his harness, repelling. When you rappel out of a helicopter with a fucking holstered attack dog, it's you have balls of solid rock. Good God, man. But not the episode, the interview was good. But then we go into this whole separate conversation about treatment and healing from an ayahuasca ceremony, which I didn't
Yeah.
know anything of. So, like, here we are, we're hosting this show, and we turn around, and we next thing, I'm just sitting here like listening to him just narrate this whole journey. I'm like, I went from being a co-host to just, you know, doing the Forrest Gump thing, like, wow, that's
Yep.
pretty cool, and just all that crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, I was right there with you. I'm just like, that's what happens when you're what?
Exactly.
It was nuts. That's another and again, we keep on plugging episodes, but like seriously, that's a really good episode you need to check out. Like,
And
if you
it's
haven't watched it
not that they're not all special in their own right. There's been little clips of every episode which have been good in their own right. But those are, like, for me, are just kind of the ones that stick out. You know, if you had to watch a VIP session, I would probably say, you know, watch that one because of the fact that, like, it went into so much detail. Plus the fact
Absolutely.
that we had, that was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was our 6th VIP guest. So by then,
Damn.
because before
Okay.
that, let's see, before that we had Brent Lee, we had Greg, we had War Daddy on for number 3, your wife's friend Melissa for number 4, and then your buddy Ben for number 5.
Yep.
And then we had Kyle for 6. Danny was number 7. And that's all we have so far.
Florida State Representative Danny Alvarez. Go check that episode out as well.
Yes, that was a good one. Because, you know, it's funny how. So, yeah, here we go. Like, and this is why. So, normally, quick side note. Normally, when we do a show, we have kind of like a preset list of like notes or like talking points or like what you maybe would call action items that we're going to hit on during the course of the conversation. Like, we're going to have like some just general vague ideas. We're going to hit on them and just kind of see where the conversation goes. We made very, very, very minimalistic notes this time because we're just talking about this stuff as it comes, right?
Absolutely.
What was great with Danny is, like, here's Danny. He's a lawyer. He used to be a law professor. He is a state representative now for a good chunk of Hillsborough County. But he's also an infantry guy. So, like, you can get that infantry grunt brain growing, and, like, you just kind of see, like, the inappropriate jokes and just kind of, yeah, that's
Yep.
funny. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I almost wonder if we could consider it like a ADHD brain, because I feel like a lot of guys that go into the infantry are like, hey, squirrel.
Ooh,
Oh, but what's
yeah,
that? Enemy. Bam!
dude,
I got him.
that's- that's a good fucking point, dude.
You
Holy
know what I mean?
Dude, I never thought about it like that, but like, and honestly, folks, that's
shoot.
these shows come to us. It's like, we'll having a conversation, and he'll say something like, "Yeah, no shit, yeah, no shit, man." Start typing stuff, absolutely. It's like, holy fuck, how did we not think of that before? It's like, God dang it, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. But like, we literally also have like a Word document with a bunch of bullet points all the way down where it's like potential episode topics that so like, we've got a massive pool of stuff that we can pull from, and from there we start researching. Some of them are kind of work in progress where they're already established. Then from there we just plug them into the lineup and stuff. But yeah, but like, oh God, Danny's was great because, you know, again, like I was saying, you got a guy who's, you know, he's a very mature, for the most part, very mature
For the most part.
guy. And like, you can just you see like the manner, like the army, like the military service mannerisms come out and stuff, and like,
Yep.
like nobody says Big Sarge unless you were like in the army. It's like, hey, Big Sarge,
Exactly.
listen, I will get the E4 Mafia on this, and we will make it happen. I'm going to summon them right now. Exactly, crazy shit happens, and they're just like, people in their car listen to this, going, "What the fuck was that? Was that a bird?"
man.
Oh, man.
No, that's not It's not a bird. It's just the blue falcon.
Jesus. But yeah. But yeah, like whenever we get to have a guest on, like the VIP sessions, I would say yes, because we've had the majority, the most of those, that type of episode. We've had on
Yeah.
other guests. We've had on Brian when he was talking about mission focused mindset. We had on Dr. Gino for recovery.
Yeah.
We
Most
had
of
on-
these guys,
we had
most of the
on-
people we've had on were vets. Most of them. I mean,
Most
we've
of
had Josh Rhodes on the show as well. The pastor.
Did we?
Yeah, we had a pastor. He was a prior service Army too.
Was that the one
Um,
that we did talking about faith of the American
of the-
warrior?
Faith of the American Warrior. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, folks. I meant to say earlier the Kyle Oswald episode was 056. My fault, not 058, 056. But yeah, I need to go back and look at that one too. So, but yeah, I'm gonna like spend some time going back and watching these because it's just great, like to listen to. Like if you're doing something and you need something just for like background noise,
Yeah.
why not? But yeah, the VIP stuff has been fun just because you get to hear somebody else's story. Everybody's story is different, and that's kind of like circling back around to John. It's like John, our friend that we used to work with, like just told some great stories, and it's like everybody's got a story that needs to be told, not just veterans.
Yeah,
I mean, to kind of to double tap back to what you were talking about earlier, it's like veterans need to do a better job of looking out for it. And in some ways we do, especially when it comes to like veterans like collaborating and whatnot, especially like business wise, like business venture wise. I think that's a lot easier to do. Like you get the guys on like the Unsub podcast, you've got Jack Mandeville, you've got the Fat Electrician, you've got Eli Cuevas, you've got
they're all on that one. They all get on that one right. What they all get on that one podcast.
Yeah, they get on that one, or you also have the
Fat
Rifle
Electrician.
Coffee. You also have the Black Rifle Coffee. I think it's Free Range American. Like
Yes.
Angry Cops has been on there, and those are fucking great. Like, and
Black
they just-
Rifle Coffee, America's coffee.
Yeah, like just
I would hold up a mug, but they haven't sponsored us yet.
oh, they're not going to. They got their own shit.
They do have their own shit.
That would be great. They've got their own podcast. They got their own. Thing. These two jabronis. Yeah, get lost, you. It's like
Yeah.
Thanks. Dude, how awesome would it be if we could get Richard High on here, Angry Cops? That would be, oh my god.
That would be
His
amazing.
storytelling is fucking amazing.
Shit.
What is
Nick
the
from
whole-
the Fat Electrician his storytelling is amazing.
I could just sit, he's mesmerizing. I could just listen to that guy talk, and it's just like he tells stories, and it's just like, God damn it, like that's fucking crazy. It's insane. He was talking about some kind of he was talking about some vice admiral, 3-star admiral from the Navy, who's the first submarine commander to be awarded the Medal of Honor, and the citation for that is
God.
fucking insane. Have you heard of that? one?
You're talking about the Fat Electrician episode, right?
It was a Fat Electrician talking about it. I think he was on Unsub
Yeah.
podcast, but
I
he's talking
think-
about
well-
the submarine commander.
He has his own channel on YouTube, and I think he
Yes.
talked about that sub commander on his
His name was
YouTube
his
channel.
name was Red or something, but yeah, like it came
Yes, I
like,
watched that
ended up
episode of his
firing,
show.
like 19 torpedoes and shit. I'm like, I didn't know there was that many on board. Like, god damn, it was like they're
Yeah.
fucking hot. They're
Who
hot
would've known?
doing this shit. Yeah. I mean, just the guy's a wealth of knowledge. He's got a lot of freaking things he can talk about. And like they just look at it, and it's the great thing about
That reminds me, they have a new streaming app too. I don't remember what the hell it's called, but I think I might actually end up downloading it because now him, Fat Electrician, and I guess one of his buddies, they're doing history show where they just go around the country and research like historical shit. And not like I really want to watch it now.
especially
I
a
really wanna watch
history nerd like we are. Oh yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean that's talking to other people and sharing our platform and stuff, I think is just crucial because
Absolutely.
veterans helping veterans, and like we've got to look out for our own community. We are our own gatekeepers of our community, so that's important. If it's just talking about hard shit, or if it's making an inappropriate joke at some dark time, just like, hey, that's what it takes. Absolutely. So, but yeah, so that's kind of what we wanted to do. We're not going to go too much longer just because we're already at the hour point, but yeah, it's been a crazy ride so far. Like it's like 100. No, fuck, we're at 100. Holy shit. So there's been a lot that's happened in the last 3.5 years since we got started. Some good, some bad, but I wouldn't trade it. This has become so much a part of who I am is doing this podcast. And everybody's like, oh, you got a lot of subscribers. No, but that's not important. Like,
No.
my daughter asks me all the time, how many subscribers do you have? I'm like, I don't know.
It's not the biggest deal in the
analytics.
world. Like, I mean, subscribers will come. Subscribers will come. We just have to keep doing the deed, and keep
pounding the pavement, boots
Yep.
to the ground, freaking moving into the OBJ.
Yep.
Yeah,
And let it get better and better gradually on its own.
Yes, and I told her one time, I said, that's a number that's probably important to some. It's not the most important. I said, to me, what's more important is if we've actually helped somebody stop from going down that road of that path of no return.
Yeah.
So that would, if that's happened, I would take that as such an immense sense of pride and, humility, just to say, this person, for whatever reason, got a hold of our show, and somehow we gave them time to laugh at something very inappropriate, or they were laughing at us talking. They were laughing at us, laughing about fucking wieners and bratwurst and shit during a holiday show, and just being completely retarded and inappropriate and shit.
Yeah.
But they're like, if they say, you guys helped me out of a dark place, like that would mean the absolute world to me, and it would just fuel that fire more. Not that the fire isn't fueled enough to keep going, but it would just stoke the flames of passion for this, what we're doing.
Yeah, to me that means more than getting a subscriber every fucking day. Like, honestly, like don't get me wrong. Hey, if you subscribe, thank you very mucho.
For sure.
And keep them coming. But still, like, being able to help somebody and get them out of that funk is the most important.
You're getting really serious right now, and all of a sudden, like, I just heard you go, and I was like,
but they did. That's all, folks.
That's what. You have such a serious brain about it just exploded. Oh fuck! I'm sorry.
Hey,
continue.
It's the same thing as the Army, sponsored by Oscar Mayer.
And Jacksonville Bratwurst. I don't want to be sitting here staring at my ears.
Oh my god. Johnsonville's are really good though. Especially if you get the kielbasa's.
They're very good.
Kielbasa's are the best. Especially if you just stick them on a skillet and just fry them. Fry it until it's nice and crispy on one side, and then you fry it on the other side. It's got the black.
Welcome to the ADHD ASMR show. Jesus Christ. You're sitting there getting so in it.
Oh my god.
That hamster wheel in your head just went.
Yep. You know what it is? It's because I've been fasting for a week, right? So I've been fasting for a week. No sweets, no cupcakes, no cookies,
no caffeine,
no meat. Like the caffeine part is hard. So I've been limiting myself to 1 cup of coffee a day, where I'm normally doing like 4 or 5.
Is that possible? Like, dude, you're of like Puerto Rican descent. Like, I would think that's kind of just a way of life. Like,
it really is, which is why I'm trying to wean myself.
In the bottle, bro. Like, come on.
I know. I'm trying to wean myself because, like, I've noticed, like, which I might have an addiction problem because, like, if I don't have my coffee, like, I get migraines. So I'm like,
That's yeah. Then that's what it is because I just had the same problem. I had to kind of cut back on my Monster a day habit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And those have more caffeine in them than a cup of coffee.
Oh, but they go down like water. They're so delicious. It's so good when it hits the lips.
It's like the chicken and the bacon and the chicken strips. Oh. I'm kidding. No,
Down
but
there,
so-
Bill Cosby. What the fuck, man? Like we're having a conversation about coffee, and you're like, and the jello and the pudding and the chicken and the. I was like, what?
you got to do it with the pudding. So, oh shit.
We're at the finish line. Like, let's keep going. God.
So, but yeah, man, like I said, I've been on a fast. So, like, just thinking about the things I have not been able to eat has been
I will say
to say
this.
the least.
Your advice about frying up kielbasa, 100% right. I made about a month ago. I made some I got from Brian is taking up some kielbasa or like some sausage or something, bratwurst, and put them in a frying pan. Get a little bit of a nice char on both sides, right? And then put them into like if you, whatever you like. Bush's, Kingsford, like get a can of baked beans, whatever your flavor you like, because there's like a lot of good flavors out there. They got the maple and brown sugar, they've got the sugar cured ham type stuff, and then you cut up the sausage and you throw it in the beans while it's cooking. Oh, butter. It's like butter. Oh my god.
Butter.
But yeah, so back to what we were talking about because the train of thought took a dirt
because it
road,
just went
but-
squirrel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
There it goes. So yeah, it has been an amazing journey over the last 100 episodes.
And thank you for
it's-
being on that journey with us, folks.
We appreciate that very much. Yes, absolutely. We were talking to the probably the two most for not being on the show, the two people that have had the most input and help like kind of steer us along a little bit, and that's our good friend Brian and your wife Tisha.
Mhm.
And anybody else who's given us advice or left comments or whatnot, told us to love what we're doing. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for giving us an audience to kind of act like asshats too, because otherwise just looks like we're freaking mentally defective. So thank you for
basically.
listening. These guys are morons, but they kind of talk about some funny shit. So, but like I was saying, it's kind of a weird thing. It's like we stress about because we do this so much. Like we have 2 meetings a week. We have a meeting on Tuesday night and then Thursday night to kind of get the show's notes started, research on our own, and then Thursday we kind of finalize everything. Friday we do the show, and it's wash and repeat all the way through the season. And then usually when we get off of a season or like holiday times, we kind of take a week or so off, or some other times and whatnot. But it's kind of a double-edged sword because like we get so caught like enthralled in the show. It's like it's a lot on top of raising children, working a full-time job, and having all of your adult responsibilities and all that stuff. To do this on the side when you're not getting paid for it, it's just strictly a passion project. It takes a lot, and it otherwise you tell me I'm going to do something as an adult for free. No, that's not right. Oh, well, now I get it. But then like we look forward to taking the time off of the show at the end of the season. We'll take probably like a month off, kind of just get that point where we can decompress, kind of breathe a little bit. We're not always under the deadline, that kind of thing. But then like we get to the end of that, we're like, we need to get the show up and running again. Like we need to get it started. Like it's so strange. And if we can't be the only
Yeah.
ones out there. It's like I would
No.
love to do this just full time and get paid for it. Like, somebody, not saying like Joe Rogan famous, but like enough to where I can just focus on this and have free time and stuff to do with my kids,
Hell
with my
yes.
daughter, or like for you and your kids. I
Mhm.
don't know why I said,
Hell yeah.
I just said kids like I have more than one. I am so tired.
You're speaking it into existence, buddy.
I fucking hope not. I can't start over now. Listen,
You'd be
I'm
surprised how
good.
many guys your age have had another one.
I'm
Just
not trying
saying.
to do the damn like David Letterman thing and start at like 70. No fucking way. No. No.
That's why. Hey, you gotta start. You gotta start now before before they dry up. It's gonna, by some point you're gonna be shooting powder.
I feel like Mel Gibson's there going laugh. I was like, come on, man.
It's gonna be like,
Whatever, dude. You'll get there too one day.
Oh
God. So normally when we close out the show, we go over the story of John, who was influential in this show being a part of the show, even though he wasn't around for it.
Oh.
So we're gonna kind of only talk about half of it. So the origin story about John and everything else. Well, part of us coming up with this show was we were talking about like, what our audience is going to be, what we're going to call ourselves, and then like a little bit of, branding, as I'm sure anybody does when they're, coming up with a brand or an identity or something like that. So we came up with the Battle Bros Code. And what the Bros Code is it's 4 easy things to remember when the going gets tough a little bit. Okay. So a lot of people just, for whatever reason, think there's no help out there for them. And that's absolutely wrong. And, reach out to somebody and all that kind of shit. So, we're going to go through what this is. So be tenacious. No matter what you do in life, do it to the fullest of your ability. If you're going to be a podcaster, have fun with it. Do it as best you can, and just love it and have fun with it and all this shit. And don't be afraid to laugh. You're gonna
we do.
up. You're gonna look at it and go, "Oh, that's so cringe, Jesus." Well, I'm watching this. That you're gonna do that because
the first 5 episodes are always the worst. It's just gonna be what it is. By 6, you're in your groove. You're getting to know things a little bit better.
And then it starts smoothing out and it gets better and it's awesome. So no matter what you do in life, do it to the fullest. In the words of the great Ron Swanson, don't half-ass 2 things, whole ass 1 thing. Okay? Be tenacious. R, refuse to surrender. There's going to be plenty of times in life where things come up and it's going to make you think about quitting. There's been plenty of times on the show we've had things happen. We had to like not come on with a new season for like a full 6 months because, we had computer issues and software. Like I had to get a new laptop and I just couldn't afford it at the time. Had some issue. Alamo had issues with like the service out in his neck of the woods, and there's just things that happen. If we just said fuck it, I quit, we wouldn't be at episode 100 right now.
Exactly.
So you can't. No matter what happens, refuse to surrender. Get yourself up. If you get knocked down in the dirt, get yourself up. Sometimes you got to pull yourself up by your bootlaces, dust yourself off, pull out your compass, shoot a new azimuth, distance, direction, and move out.
Hell yes.
Obliterate your obstacles. Kind of going along with the last one. Have the ability to understand that it's not always going to be a straight path. We didn't know what we were doing for, like you said, the first 5 to 10 episodes. We reached out to several people. I remember talking to Dr. G because him and Danny were doing a podcast.
Dr. G, no.
for a little while. Before they both had other, they kind of were doing it at one point, and then they kind of both got into just a lot of other opportunities and whatnot. So that kind of didn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Great podcast. It was fantastic. But I remember kind of reaching out to him, just like, hey, man, what do you think about this? What do you think about, is this feasible to have this kind of mindset? I remember I actually asked him, I was like, what do you think is the reality of us not talking about politics? And he goes, well, shit, I would think pretty good, because it's everywhere else. People are going to hopefully tune in because they don't want to hear it. And you're talking about some real shit.
Mhm.
There have been times we've discussed it, talking about like, stand closing down.
You
this, that, and the other, but-
mentioned that, dude, and like something came up for me for that one. Like, there's been a lot of people talking about this kind of a situation, the whole politics thing, and I think, not to go into the because I'm not going into politics really, but like basically, like there's a craving for people being real. Like people are hungering for real, like this is why so many people have turned to podcasts and gone away from the media, because as of right now, legacy media right now, as it stands, they are, let's just be frank, they're mouthpieces. They're not doing
megaphones.
They're not doing what originally was their job. You come to places like, podcasts, like us, all that stuff, we're not just talking out of our ass. We're anything that we talk about, we're going and finding the research, we're backing it up, and we're saying, hey, here, what do you think? You know what I mean? And that's a very relevant point. Like, because like a lot of, and that's the whole thing about it, is people want to be able to make up their own mind. And the more real you are with them, the more likely they are to continue to listen to you.
Yeah. I mean, because face it, the days of having objective news, like when you used to have somebody like, like Walter Cronkite was probably the last like big name that everybody knows, from our generation. They gave you enough news to report the facts, and then you make up your own opinion about it. They weren't telling you this is how you should feel, this, that, and another. So
he retired in like 92, didn't he? I think it was like he retired in like 92, and then he passed away in like early 2000s.
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, be understanding that, point A to point B isn't always going to be a straight line. Sometimes you're going to have to double back around. You're going to have to go around and circle around 3 times like a lost lieutenant in the woods.
Yeah.
It happens. Okay. Obliterate those obstacles, whatever they are. Sometimes you have to traverse a wall. Sometimes you have to dig a hole under a fence. Sometimes you have to go and a quarter mile into the woods to go downstream of a river to get back on the other side of an obstacle on the main road a mile down the road by walking out a quarter mile from the woods. It happens. Sometimes you got to breach the fucking wall or door with some C4 and Bangalores and shit. And sometimes you do what somebody did and drive an armored vehicle into a structure. Yeah, that might have happened. Yeah, it's a running joke on this. No matter what happens, just remember where you're trying to go. Remember what you're trying to do. Obliterate your obstacles and freaking just don't stop until you hit the X, the OBJ, the goal, finish line, whatever it may be. Last and most importantly, S, seek out help in a time of need. Okay. As we mentioned with our friend John, it's a shame that we fell out of touch with him. And I wish he would have reached out to somebody. If he did, I don't know, but I wish it would have happened, because as much as I love doing this podcast, if it meant John was still here, I would be okay with that. He was a funny fucking dude, loved to laugh, just full of vigor, full of life. We had a great time. I'm surprised the 3 of us did not get into more trouble or fight when we worked together, because like we would just do the dumbest shit, man. And it was just great. It's like when you have that core group of friends and you just make fun. Like it could be the shitty, like, dude, cleaning up the ranges at the end of the night was shit, because you're sweeping gunpowder and lead residue. But John had a way of just making it funny, just being hilarious, and it made
sweating your ass off.
Oh God, you got customers down the freaking counter there, and it's just like, But you know what? We made it work, and it was fun, and it wasn't work anymore. We got the job done. We had fun doing it. It's like, I used to think we were kind of like under a microscope. Everybody's around the other counters, like just looking at us like little microbes under a microscope or something. It's like we're over here like busting ass.
Oh.
There's always gonna be.
What are those little sea monkeys gonna do today?
Like I was saying, I don't know what the fuck I was saying. I just lost it because of this guy.
Seek out help in a time of need.
Yes. So, whatever that looks like, if you think you're not in a good place, like reach out to somebody. Don't think you have to go through it alone. We are social creatures by design. We do times you do better in pairs, or at least with another person, whether it's pairs, small groups, whatever the case may be. If you think you're going to harm yourself, or you're thinking of, if you have thoughts of harming yourself, don't. Reach out to somebody. If you don't have somebody that you can reach out to, a friend, a family member, a coworker, somebody you served with, somebody that knows what you're going through, there are options out there for you. If you feel like you're going to hurt yourself, there's a National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Again, 1-800-273-8255 or 1-800-273-TALK, TALK. You can also reach them by dialing 988. Again, that is 988. Once you get on the line, I think you select option 1 for talking to a live person right then and there. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I wish that John would have realized or had known to use this option because he'd still be with us. The COVID pandemic may have ended, despite what the press wants you to believe or all that kind of crap. But this is the pandemic. This is the epidemic that we're trying to stop, is this right here. Okay. 22 a day is too many. And that's just, people you don't even know. But when you know somebody that is one of those 22, it hits home a lot fucking harder than just being 22 names you can't put a face to.
Yeah.
So, it sucks regardless, but when you know somebody, it stings a little bit more because it's like, you start asking yourself some questions like, what could I have done different to help them out? I wish I would have reached out, stayed in contact more. Reach out to your friends, man. Reach out to people. Like it's a crazy world that we live in nowadays, and like we have this whole like disconnected connectivity kind of thing going on where everybody's just on the phone and do all like fucking get on the phone. If you get on the phone, use it for what it's designed for. It's a phone. Call somebody, talk to them. There's some people that don't like.
How's the saying go? We're more disconnected now than we ever been, even though we are the most connected we have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
real talk, man.
It is absolutely. So just remember, like, reach out to your friends, reach out to somebody. Check in on your peeps, man. It's important. So. But yeah, if you can remember the four tenets of the Bros Code: be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, seek out help in a time of need. Like it's gonna help you just day-to-day shit. Small victories turn into small goals, which turn into larger goals, which get you on a better path to being a better version of yourself. Okay. I'm going to pass it off to Alamo now. He's going to plug all the social media stuff, and then we're going to wrap this up for our anniversary episode. So, take it away, dude.
So, if you would like to catch up with us on any of the social medias, you have multiple places you could do that. First being the Facebook, owned by Meta. Over at facebook.com/battlebros.podcast. You can also catch us on the Instagram at battlebros_podcast. You can also catch us over on the Competition, which is the X formerly known as Twitter at Battle Bros PC. If you'd like to contact us via those instant messengers there, let us know, hey, you guys suck, or, hey, you guys are funny as hell, but can you guys talk about this? Go ahead and do it, man. We're open. We're all ears. We want new subjects. We want to be able to have things to research, talk about, all that good stuff. And we can't do that without your input. And, your input does help. If you like seeing our ugly mugs and you don't want to just see us live, you could do that over here on the YouTube, where you can just click on the live portion of the options right there, where you click into your when you click into YouTube and search our channel, and you'll find all of our current episodes in the live area. If you're one of those folks that are switching over to the Rumble, we are also over there on Rumble. I'm currently catching up on uploading episodes. It does take a little bit, but I will say Rumble is a good option as well, and we will be over on the Rumble. You could catch us over on Rumble if you go over to Rumble, you could go rumble.com and search all one word, all lowercase, Battle Bros. That is one word, lowercase, Battle Bros. And you will find all the episodes that we have uploaded on Rumble right there. You can also find us on most of your most common audio platforms. You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, as well as I believe a few others. I believe we're even on Amazon Music. And you can check those out and search us there and pull us up. If last but not least, you guys need somebody to talk to, whether it's for yourself or for, family member, friend, whatever. Hey, we have a private email where you can contact us, and that is battlebrospc@gmail.com. That is battlebrospc@gmail.com. You can message us privately there. Again, send us show ideas if you want, however you want to do it. But also, again, if you have somebody that you're really concerned about, and you feel like saying, like, oh well, I don't know what to say, what should I do, blah blah blah. Hey, we're all ears. We're both here wanting to make a difference in our community at large. You know what I mean? That includes, non-military as well. That could be including law enforcement and fire. That can be including EMS. It doesn't matter what your walk of life is. You deserve to be here, and the folks around you deserve to have you here. So if you've never served in the military, but you still listen to us regardless, and you have, again, either if it's yourself, family members, whatever, that are having issues, hey, send us a message. We're going to be here to looking for those messages. We monitor it every week, and we're willing to be here for you. Other than that, I got nothing else.
Word. So again, everybody, thank you not only for taking part of this celebration of our 100th episode. Thank you also for if you've been following us from the beginning or caught a show from here and there. Appreciate it. Just remember, sometimes it's not always about you. It is about passing it along to someone that can take the message that they hear or watch and doing something about it and changing their life for the better. As he said, we don't discriminate. We never know who that's going to be. It could be anybody in this day and age. So just remember, our show is still very much word of mouth. So that's how we probably reach people the most. So don't be afraid to tell people, hey, this podcast, you should check it out. They talk about some pretty heavy stuff, but it's pretty cool. So we will be back hopefully next week with our newest, latest, greatest episode. We don't know what it is yet, but hey, that's kind of the fun of this. Like, we'll figure it out and we'll go from there. So until we meet you folks again, whether you're listening or watching at home, in your car, on your headphones, while you're going for a walk or a jog or a run or working out, wherever the case may be. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a part of this with us. This has been episode 100 of the Battle Bros podcast. My name is Mac. This is Alamo. Thanks so much for stopping by. And just remember, be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, seek out help in a time of need. We'll see you soon. Take care and have a good night.
Thank you for 100 episodes. Battle Bros out.